So this is going to be kind of off the script. I don't really have. I have an outline of what I want to talk about, but I don't really have like a script, like pre-written things I want to say. I've been wanting to make like a really positive video about Shadowlands because I'm genuinely having fun. I think this is better than BFA, but there's I just got so many fucking issues with this game, and I feel like I have a unique perspective as a Legion baby. Like I'm still fairly new to the game. Like I only joined I got this 5 years ago. Like that's kind of a big deal, but like I never played during BC or Wrath. I had my chance in Classic, but we'll see if I even play that. So I feel like I have this unique perspective on like my takes on the different issues in this game. Particularly with Shadowlands, I have a lot of issues. I'm just gonna kind of go over. Basically, I want to get every like pain point, all my opinions on Shadowlands out right now, so I can just focus on making something positive or negative, whatever comes out. Like I really do want to make something positive, something fun about WoW, or about any other game really. But this has just been kind of nagging at me for a while, and I just want to kind of get it all out there because everything I've made thus far has been pretty fucking negative about the game, and I'm still genuinely having fun. Like I said, like I'm enjoying this. But then again, I like mount farming and shit, so I'm in a bubble, I guess. So recently there was a Preach interview with Ian, where Preach killed Death Knights, but realistically, it was kind of a frustrating interview for me to watch. Particularly things about like Torghast, player power, and Covenants. Covenants really pissed me off. I'll go over that later. But really, I want to talk about like first off, I want to talk about like why I like this more than BFA. First off, I quit BFA 3 weeks in. I didn't come back to like 8.1.5. I it just kind of by default I like Shadowlands more, but BFA just kind of fought me a lot. Like I felt compelled to play. I felt compelled to do all the world quests, just do everything in the fucking game. And like that just drained me. Like 3 weeks and I'm like, okay, I can't. Like I'm not gonna keep this up. Just to raid old deer. Um Shadowlands still fights you. Like realistically, if you want to do like low end, high end mythic, you have to do the Maw and you have like everybody has to do Torghast, which I'll talk more about later. But it, it it's not as bad. Like realistically, like once I get my legendary, even if I'm using just like one legendary and that's mine, I only have to go through that grind once. Uh, you should be doing Torghast every week, really. That's what Blizzard wants you to do at least. But it just doesn't fight me as much. I don't feel compelled to log in every single day, and that's nice. So what do I like about Shadowlands? Let's just talk about that first. I like Castle Nathria. I've been pretty mixed overall. I think that has a lot to do with their guild experiences. I feel like raiding is a very social experience. Like you could have like the worst raid possible, right? But if you are raiding with really good people, like I loved Nyalotha. Nyalotha is one of my favorite raids because I had a really solid guild, solid raid team that just like it was just so much fun. Excuse me. Um, but yeah, Nathria overall has been pretty decent for me. I've had a lot of guild problems this tier, but I mean I like it. I think Denathrius is a really good fight. Sludge Fist is awesome. I adore Sludge Fist. I don't know what the fuck happened with Stone Legion Generals. Like I don't know what the fuck happened there, but it's decent. Mythic Plus. I enjoy Mythic Plus this tier, this expansion. I like all the dungeons. There's not a single one I don't like. I mean, Spires of Ascension, like okay, it's pretty annoying, but overall I like most of the dungeons. I love Misatirna Scythe. I don't know why. I'm into fairies or something. I don't know. But PvP. I've like dipped my toes into PvP this expansion because it's a lot like easier for me to understand without scaling. And I had a lot of fun at the beginning of the expansion doing PvP. I know there's a lot of problems now, but like I'm not a PvPer. I just did it for gear, but I had fun. So I can't really say anything on PvP. I know there are a lot of problems right now. I don't feel like I could correctly say anything. Um, Next thing I want to talk about is world content. I've mentioned this before. I think all the world quests, anything in the world that you do, is so fucking boring. It is like mind-numbing. So like, there are cosmetics I want, you know. It depends on your covenant, but like I want all the mounts. I want to get all my reps to exalt it, but they're so fucking boring. It's the same fucking world quest, and they take so much longer than they did in Legion. I already talked about this in my dailies video, but it makes it so hard to want to log in just to get those cosmetics. You know, it's like okay, I'll put on Netflix or I'll put on Hulu or something and just sit back and like I'm basically just watching TV. It's like come on, like, and then anima like this has all been said to death before, but it just takes way too fucking long to grind. You had to do like someone got like the totals right for every single covenant. Like I saw it on Reddit. Every single covenant, they all have different like totals for like how much anima you need to get everything. And this is like a side note, but like Night Fae has so many fucking cosmetics with the soul shapes that they're like double. Like I think Necrolord or Kyrian are on the bottom. They're like double the amount of anima required, which is fucking insane. Like there's a ton of content in the Night Fae Covenant, but the point is it just takes way too long. Even with the new changes, I think it's just too late. You know, it's like 10,000 anima for your last upgrade for your sanctum upgrades. It's like it's too much, man. It's too much. It's too slow. You know, like I'm not gonna like it's so hard to warrant doing a world quest for like 3 anima tokens just to like get like 0.1% closer to my goal. It's like it's frustrating. And that's one piece of the game. Like if you don't do a world quest, you're fine. You know, you can ignore it. That's what I like about world quests. That you can ignore them. They're all part of a side system, which they weren't in Legion and BFA. But I think it makes it better. But it's still not good. Like please don't add AP back into world quest. Please don't. The Maw. It's really only required if you actually care about your performance. It's the same thing. It's really not engaging. It's more annoying than world quest for sure. Definitely more annoying. Like I fucking despise going into the Maw. I think it's a good idea though. I think going into the pits of hell is interesting, but it's the same as World Quest. It's just fucking boring. It's boring as shit. And then the Eye of the Jailer, no mounting, which is all going away in 9.1, which we'll get to later. But it's just really fucking annoying. I don't want to do it. And you gotta do it to get your conduits, Torghast upgrades, and it's like, ugh, come on, come on, man. Like, why can't I just like get my conduits and raid? Which I think they changed. I'm not sure exactly how that works because I dipped out of raiding a little bit ago. But I've gotten back into it, so I'm farming the Maw again. Yeah, it's not fun. It's not fun. There's not enough like there's nothing else besides Stygia to farm. It's there's nothing fun about it, you know. There's no exploration, no real secrets to find. Yeah, it's just irritating. And like that's the problem is it's required, you know. Like it wouldn't be that much of a problem if I didn't have to go in there every day. But now I want to talk about Torghast. Uh, I, I I think Torghast is the worst piece of content I played in like the 5 or 6 years I've been playing this game. It's the absolute worst. Um, like I know I didn't. I've only been playing since Legion, and this is easily the fucking worst. Easily the fucking worst. I have never had fun in Torghast. I've never had fun in Torghast. Torghast Torghast was doomed to fail from the start. There's one reason why I think Torghast is fucking doomed from the start. It's required. It's tied to the legendary system. There's no getting out of doing legendaries. No matter what piece of content you're doing, there's no way you're gonna get out of making a legendary. There's just no fucking way. Like imagine walking into like even a +2 and being the one dipshit without a fucking legendary. Like even LFR Andes, like I just gotta make fucking legendary. Like everyone is forced to do this. Everybody is forced to do this bullshit. So the second you make it required, that's the second like you have to bend over to every single fucking player. And I want to talk about the preaching review now. what Ian said about Torghast, he talked about like Torghast, because that's the name, right? He says the definition of a chore, or like loose definition. I don't think he said exact definition. It's like something that like you know the outcome, right? Basically, Torghast, you cannot fail with Torghast, and that's not true. That's not true. Like, if you really get dicked over on powers, then you can totally still fail Torghast. All right, with how much they fucking nerfed it, which by the way, they wouldn't have to nerf it if they didn't make it required. Like, they have to fucking systematize Torghast. They have to bend over to every single fucking player. And it's like, god damn it. Like, you could do whatever you want with this if it wasn't tied to some goddamn system. Like, Torghast could have been like the fucking Mage Tower. It could have just been this really awesome side activity that they update every single patch, right? Like, nothing in Torghast would matter as much if it wasn't tied to the legendary system, which is not worth the trouble. There's like one legendary, like Signet of Torment Kings, the warrior legendary, that's actually worth a damn. That's the only cool one I found, right? The rest are just like flat increases to your crit, or just some really boring shit. Like, Signet is the only cool one that I found, at least. There are probably more, but honestly, it's just not worth it, man. These aren't Legion legendaries. They're not nearly as cool. I appreciate that, like, there's some control. Well, there's not some. There's a lot of control over like what legendary I want to go for. Um, but Solash shouldn't be a thing. Just take it out, like, or just make it like acquirable through other means. Just take it out of fucking Torghast, man. Just like have fun with it. Like they're not letting themselves have fun with Torghast, man, and it's making everybody miserable. Like, okay, like back to what I was saying with the Ian thing. Like the definition of a chore is something that you have to do that you don't want to do. That's why it's called Choregas, not because you're destined to win. So he's complaining about, or not complaining. He's saying like you're destined to win, and they're doubling down on that in 9.1. So you definitely can't lose Torghast this time. And that's, you know what, whatever, fine. If we're gonna have to do it, I don't want to fail. But it's funny to me that I don't think he understands why it's called Choregast. Like it's broken at a fundamental level. No matter what they do, people still aren't gonna like it because they have to go there. And so far, like in 9.1 still in PTR, we don't know this yet. So far, it's only just Solash that you're getting from Torghast. Like there's like besides twisting corridors, there's no mounts, no pets, like nothing, right? I would rather do islands for a week and warfronts for 1 month than Torghast. I'm serious. I prefer the BFA shit to Torghast. Because like at least there I can get something cool. Like I have a chance of getting a cool ass mount or something, like not cool ass mount, but like a mount or a pet. And then like the islands after not or 8.1 I think it was where they added the doubloons were actually pretty good. Like if they weren't required, people would have liked them a lot more. But yeah, like they have to make Torghast super fucking easy. I think I got kind of sidetracked here. That's what happens when I don't have a script. I just kind of talk out of my ass. But TLDR about Torghast is it's doomed to fail because you have to fucking do it. They need to fucking take out Solash. They need to untie it from the legendary system, and then they can fix it. Because like I don't know if like they probably understand that too, right? But they're like, okay, well, uh, well, I don't know. It just frustrates me. It frustrates me. I can't like concentrate my thoughts because I have like so many thoughts about Torghast. But what frustrates me the most about Torghast is the potential it has. Like, imagine if Torghast was that endless mode from Alpha and Beta, right, where you can collect like hundreds of anima powers and like just do this fucking dumb shit, man. Like fucking ludicrous dumb shit, right? And then like every 10 floors you get like this chance of a mount or something, or this cool boss, or like you get like keys to unlock other floors with like these cool unique bosses that drop this like these things, like cool things like mounts and shit. I don't know. Like Torghast is just so static. There's like nothing fun about it. Like, oh, Soul Forge is this week. Hey, that's like if they just untied Torghast from the legendary system, they could do whatever the fuck they wanted. Because now no one has to do it, right? You don't have to bend over to anybody. But yeah, like if they untied it, I truly think that it could carry the rest of the expansion. I just hit my mic there. I'm sorry, but like it could carry the rest of the expansion by having that kind of side activity to fall back on, right? Because that's what this expansion's missing. And I've said this before, right? Again, in my dailies video, I said that the biggest problem in Shadowlands is that lack of side content. Because people are just raid logging at this point. Because there's nothing else to do. World quests aren't fun, right? Covenant shit's boring. Torghast should be that thing to fall back on. But it's not. Because it's really bad. It's really fucking bad. That's that. I mean, that's my piece on Torghast, man. It's just sad how much potential this has, and like I don't see them changing this in 9.1. I really don't. Which sucks. I need water. I yelled too much. All right. Kind of last like big chunk I want to talk about is covenants. Uh, like I've never seen like I've never seen a hill like less worth dying on than covenants. Like holy shit, they like tinfoil hat. Like we have been telling them, right, how bad covenants were, right? This whole like fucking meaningful choice thing, right? Since alpha, like no, since the expansion was announced, right? And we gave them the time of day, like okay, we'll see it out. We'll see what this is all about, okay? And we were totally right when the expansion came out. Okay, everyone just picked their best and slot covenant. Like not everyone, I don't want to assume, right? But most players, and me included, just said fuck it. Which one's the best? Because like convoke the spirits, that's just a part of the druid kit at this point, right? There's no getting around it. But it's just yeah, it's like one of it. And I've only ever had. Well, I want to talk really quick about like the alpha and beta because the only alpha beta experience I had was in BFA, and I people were angry. Like it was crazy because that was my first real like alpha beta experience. I didn't play it right, so I only like went off of what I heard and what I saw. People like Preach, Bellular, because they were actually playing it right, and they were very negative. And I'm like, and what are they talking about? Like they were talking about like lack of communication. Like Blizzard wasn't like talking to them about like the intent of certain systems. There was the whole Azerite gear thing. They didn't get it to like weeks before launch. But then you fast forward to the Shadowlands alpha and beta, and they were very talkative. Like it was very encouraging. They released everything early. Like okay, let's just get it in the hands of players. And that was like the key thing. They were talking to players, and everyone was happy, right? Like I have never seen the player base happier than like the alpha of Shadowlands. It was crazy. It was fucking crazy. Alpha and beta was actually a great time because like Blizzard was talking. They were, we were giving feedback. Everyone was having a good time, right? And then there's this whole pull the ripcord shit, and like we're telling them like okay, we just it's not gonna work. Like I understand the theory, right? The meaningful choice. Like in theory, it would work, kind of, right? But it doesn't work in practice. Maybe in 2004 this would have worked, but not in 2020, right? And we were right. And they just did it anyways. And tinfoil hat theory, right? I think that they had just gotten so far into development, they're like, we can't fucking go back now. we can't go back. And that's because of Soulbind, so which I'll talk about in a second. I want to finish up this thought first, try and stay focused here. But yeah, it's just I've never seen something less worth fighting over than locking Covenant abilities to the Covenants. Like as a warrior, like I was not aboard the Necrolord shit, alpha and beta, but when I actually played the game, I fucking love the Necrolords. Maybe not their campaign, right? But the cosmetics they get, I would love to be Necrolord on my warrior. I could totally see that shit working. Also, I want to play with the other abilities, right? I'm stuck as Venthyr or Night Fae, whatever way the warrior swings. But those are the top two, for at least PvE at least. So I need more water. I'm sorry. Doing so much yelling. But yeah, it just seems so needlessly restrictive. And then like I had a fucking stroke trying to change covenants, right? like right before raid. So yeah, it just seems like this is not worth the fucking hassle. Like, who fucking benefits from a meaningful choice? I can't think of a single person that like who goes, oh man, I can't wait to make my covenant choice. I don't know. I don't know. Now I want to talk about soulbinds, and I think soulbinds, like I complained a lot about Torghast, but I think soulbinds are the worst thing Blizzard's done this expansion. Let me explain. Soulbinds and conduits are really fucking boring. Like I don't fucking notice them. If I didn't have a UI telling me my soulbind was active, I would not fucking know. Let me give you a little story. So I've changed covenants on my warrior like 3 different times. The first time I changed covenants, I didn't even notice. Like I did PvP, I did arenas and shit. I didn't notice I didn't have a soulbind, and that was costing me DPS, right? But I just didn't notice because like there's nothing. That's how boring it is, right? Like I forgot to hit like the activate button, right? So I just didn't notice, and then I changed covenants again, and I pulled the fucking same shit. I ran like a bunch of Mythic Plus dungeons, and I didn't notice. Like I did like a +10, right? Didn't even fucking notice. And then I changed back to my old covenant, and I went into raid without a soulbind equipped, and I didn't notice. Case in point, soulbinds are really fucking boring. They don't really change my gameplay. Like minus 1 or 2 conduits, right? Are they worth the trouble? No. Soulbinds are the reason that covenant choice, like I believe, right? Because it just makes sense, right? If you have these conduits that are tied to, I need more fucking water. Oh my god. If you have a soulbind that directly affects the covenant ability, it's like the string that ties the covenant ability to the covenant, right? If they just removed the soulbinds altogether, right? Made like a follower system, maybe. Keep the characters, because like, some of the characters are fun. If they just did that, then they wouldn't really have to worry about it. But the problem is, like, they just kind of made that little string and tied the covenant abilities to it. They're just like, soulbinds aren't worth the trouble. They're so fucking dull. They destroyed covenants. I wrote that down on my notes. They fucking destroyed covenants. It's like Azerite traits and powers. They're just so fucking boring. They are so boring. Oh, it's and that frustrates me, man. It really does. Because I just don't see the need for soulbinds. I really don't. Like Azerite powers, I kind of get because they needed something to pick up the slack on artifact weapons, but that was piss poor. That just didn't work. I'm pacing right now, but it didn't work. It really didn't work because like I felt it. I felt how shitty my character felt going from Legion to BFA. But there, like the thing is, like we didn't need something to pick it up. Like my class feels complete with the Covenant ability. Like they're cool, right? Soulbinds don't do anything. They're just like extra proc damage, and that's dull. That's boring. Um, yeah, Soulbinds just kind of. I feel like they kind of destroyed Covenants. It just adds an extra like. And here's another thing. They Blizzard created their own balancing nightmare with this shit. Like no, we can balance it. We can balance it. So you can balance like 3 different basically talent trees and a covenant ability, and you can balance 4 of those. Basically like 12 different fucking things. Like not even 12. Like 16 fucking things to balance. And if you tune one thing the right way or to the right and like one thing to the left, then everything's thrown off. It's just like why even? It's not worth the trouble. It's not worth the trouble. Why spend so much dev time doing that? And that was one of the big things I noticed during the alpha and beta. When I was looking at the patch notes, it's like all tuning for this covenant shit. Like, why can't we just have the 4 covenant abilities? Like, they're great. I think most of the covenant abilities are actually really fun. I love Spear of Bastion, but I can't use it. I can't use it outside of like M+. Why can't I just spec into Spear of Bastion? I don't fucking know. This has all been said to death before, but I think that's the TLDR. Like, even as like a Legion Zoomer, right? I see the problems with this game. As much fun as I'm having with Shadowlands, I can't ignore this shit, man. And it's frustrating because like it's so hard for me to believe that like seasoned developers at Blizzard would like intentionally do this shit, and it just makes the game worse, right? I I don't know. I don't know. This is the problem with rant videos. I get sidetracked so fast. Um, I wrap this up. I gotta pee. But I wanna end on kind of a high note, right? I want to talk about 9.1 because I'm genuinely looking forward to 9.1, right? I'm very excited for the new raid. I look at the Sylvanas bow, I look at the Sourfang trinket, I look at the bosses in general, right? Shit looks fucking awesome. I looked in the raid environment, right? Whatever the thing they released was it Wowhead, I think. They did like the mini tour of the raid and the arenas. Awesome. Like some of the best I've seen. Korthia, I hope there's more there, right? There probably I hope there will be. Ian said there will be. I am inclined to believe him. He does know more about this game than I do, and that's the thing. I'm not a fucking developer, right? I'm not some game developer. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. I'm just some stupid fucking zoomer. So, um, also cosmetics. Like 9.1 has some of the coolest cosmetics I've ever seen. I want the fucking hand mount. I want the horse mounts. I want the weird like little raptor things, whatever with the wings. Also, the raid transmog. It is just a legendary transmog, but it's good transmog. I don't give a shit that we're not getting class sets until next patch, until 9.2. I don't really care. If I get the legendary shit, oh my god, oh my god, they look good for every single class, or not every single class, but every single set looks amazing. And then I was looking last night. They have like new cloaks, new back slots, like the Covenant ones. Fucking amazing. I love that shit. I'm gonna eat that. Like I eat that shit up, man. Um, Torghast changes. Still a work in progress, so I don't want to say too much about it. But I'm not impressed with what I've seen. So yeah. Uh, overall, I'm hopeful for the future. Like I know Shadowlands is good. It's objectively good right now, and it will get better. Obviously 9.1's late. I can't really blame them for that right now because we don't really know what's going on. Are they just spending a lot of dev time on soulbinds? I doubt it. I doubt that's the real thing. I think it might be a little hard to make a multi-million-dollar MMO from home. So I'm gonna cut them some slack with this one. I really am. I don't mean to sound like a shill. Obviously I'm not a shill because I've been bitching about the game for 28 minutes now. But but I'm hopeful. I want to leave on that note. Like I'm very hopeful for the future of Shadowlands. I'm still having fun. I've kept my subscription up. I like leveling alts. I like having alts expansion. All the classes I've played are fun. Even Hunter. Like I don't typically like Hunter, but I've had fun with Hunter. So yeah, those are my Zoomer thoughts on Shadowlands. If you enjoyed, consider liking and subscribing. I'm gonna have more shit up later, but I just haven't. I've been busy, and I only want to make things that I know are gonna be of quality. I say this as I just yelled to myself for 29 minutes, but I mean that. Like I need to have like ideas. I'm just gonna make something with that idea. This whole rant came from me just wanting to get all my bad ideas out because I just need to bitch about the game, right? I just need to bitch about the game because I have so many thoughts that I just yell to myself. Like I might as well preach to the fucking choir. So, anyways, consider liking, commenting. If you disagree with me, agree with me, I'm curious to know. But yeah, thank you for watching.